plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Make a move, make a contribution. Trust it, we are reliable. We will be there when you need us. Trust it, we are dependable. We will pay all your benefits due you. Trust it, we will always pay on time, so you don't have to worry. Trust it, oh, trust it, trust it. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Make a move, make a contribution. Trust it, we are reliable. We will be there when you need us. Trust it, we are dependable. We will pay all your benefits due you. Trust it, we will always pay on time, so you don't have to worry. Trust it, oh, trust it, trust it. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Make a move, make a contribution. Trust it, we are reliable. We will be there when you need us. Trust it, we are dependable. We will pay all your benefits due you. Trust it, we will always pay on time, so you don't have to worry. Trust it, oh, trust it, trust it. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Make a move, make a contribution. Trust it, we are reliable. We will be there when you need us. Trust it, we are dependable. We will pay all your benefits due you. Trust it, we will always pay on time, so you don't have to worry. Trust it, oh, trust it, trust it. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from. Make a move, make a contribution. Trust it, we are reliable. We will be.
Welcome to SSNIT Infozone. My name is Joseph Poku, the pensions manager, and I'm here to take you through how you calculate your pension. Before I do that, let's have a recap of our last week's presentation. Last week, we learned about the benefits that the scheme presents. The first one is the old age pension. Then we did old age lump sum, and survivor's lump sum, invalidity pension, and immigration lump sum. Today, our focus is going to be on old age pension. or what we call superannuation pension. And we are going to concentrate on the two types of pension under the old age, which is full pension and reduced pension. Now, what goes into the determination of your pension? Today, it's one, amounts that you earn as salaries. The second is the number of months of contribution that you made during your working life. And the third is the age at retirement. Now, the amount you earn will be translated into the average of your 3 best years. The number of months that you contributed will be translated into the percentage, which we call the pension rate, that we are going to see in a minute. And the age at retirement will also determine whether we will apply a reduction factor or not. Someone will ask, what is pension? Pension is a monthly payment that we make to a member who retired after attaining the age of 60 or 55 and above, but less than 60, and has made 180 months contribution or 15 years minimum. That is when the person receives a series of payments every month, and we call that pension. Now, if you are 60 years and above, and you have made a minimum of 180 months contribution, you qualify for full pension. If you are 55 years, but you are less than 60 years, 5 years, 1 month to 55 years, 11 months, and you have made a minimum of 180 months contribution, you qualify for a reduced pension. It means you are not going to get a full pension. Now let's see how the pension is calculated. First, we determine the average of the 3 best years' annual salaries, which, as I mentioned, will be derived from the salaries or the contributions that you made. Second, we calculate the pension rights, which I'll define very soon, and then we determine all together will determine the monthly pension that you earn. How we calculate. Said will be translated into the pension rights. So if you make, and you need 180 months to even qualify, minimum of 180 months, then your pension rights law is 37.5%. You can increase it from that point up until 420 months, which gives you the maximum pension of 60%. Now, these factors that I've mentioned is the percentage that you've earned by law that SSNIT should replace your lost income through retirement with. And that's what we are going to see in a minute. So you can earn a pension right from 37.5% to 60%, depending on the number of months of contribution that you make into the scheme. Now, when you do that, to determine it, that's the formula you see on your screens. 37.5 is the minimum, and the difference between the number of months that you contributed and 180 becomes the excess contribution. And each year of that contribution gives you an additional 1.125%, which when divided by 12, 0.09375% a month. So any month of contribution that you make after the 180 months attract 0.09375%. Now, what percentage of your salary will you receive as your pension right? The years of contribution is indicated on your screens, from 15 years all the way to 35 years. The 15 years, which is the 180 months minimum contribution that you need, will be equivalent to 37.5%. All the way, as I indicated, every year is 1.125%. So 35 years contribution, that gives you the maximum pension right of 60%. Now, let's look at the age retirement factor. This is applicable to only those who retire before age 60. They started their minimum contribution 180 months, and they are 55 years or more, but less than 60 years this is the factor that will apply. In layman's terms, this table you see is the percentage that you get out of your maximum or out of the 100% that you were supposed to get if you had retired at age 60 years. So on the table, you see the age column, which is 55 all the way to 59 years. And then you see on the horizontal column, that is the row, 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 11 months. That is the months column. So for example, if somebody decides to retire at age 56 years, 2 months, then you look at age 56 on the left and go and look for 2 months at the top and the cell that corresponds with the 56 and the 2, which in this case is 0.6875, is the percentage that you get out of your 100% that you're supposed to get if you are retired at age 60. So in this case, it is 68.75%, which in fraction is 0.6875. Now, once you decide to retire at 60, as I said, you don't get any of these. You get 100%, and 100% is 100 over 100, which is 1. So your age reduction factor will be 1, meaning it's 100% benefit. Now let's take an example and see how we calculate our benefits. Pension. Very simple example. Assuming somebody is retiring at the age of 6 and has made 150 months contribution. And 60,000, 84,000. Here we calculate the person, the pension that he gets. Time. Follow our line on this. Salaries. And then you calculate the pension right, and we go ahead and determine the monthly pension. Don't forget, pensions are paid monthly. So the first step, how do we determine the average? This is simple arithmetic, what we learn in primary school, I suppose. To find the average of numbers, you just add up the numbers and divide by the number of numbers. So if you have 5 numbers that you're finding average, you add all up and divide by 5. In this case, we have 3 numbers, 60,000, 58,000, and 44,000. So we sum them up and divide by 3, and that's what you see on the screen. And when you do so, you arrive at 54,000 as the average of the 3 salaries that were displayed earlier. Step 2, we need to calculate the pension right. How do we do that? The formula was given earlier, and we are repeating it here. So for somebody who contributed for 250 months, we just slot in the 250 months. And it would be equivalent to 37.5, so we need the extra 70 and calculate. And don't forget, I mentioned that each month attracts 0.09375%. So the extra 70 we multiply by the 0.09375%. And when you do the calculation, it gives you 44.0625%. Step 3, how do we calculate the annual pension? The formula is given up there. Now we determine the best 3 years' salaries. We have determined the pension right, and we are going for the retirement factor. Don't forget, I mentioned that once you have 60 years, you get 100%. And 100% simply means 100 over 100, which is 1. So when you look at the formula, you have 54,000 as the annual of the 3 best years that we were earlier. And then the pension right, so calculated, 44.0625. A factor, the early retirement factor. 1. The first step is determine before this one. So a months in a year. So you arrive at 1. You see this 81 West. person is going to get at the beginning of his retirement. Now let's look at a second example where the person decides that he's not going to wait for age 60, but wants to get a pension before that. So he's retiring at age 56 years, 2 months, for example, for reasons best known to him or her. Now, assume that the same salaries that apply to the first person applies to this person. He also earned the same salaries. Let's see how we calculate the monthly pension. The same steps. First, we determine the average of the 3 best years, which we have done before. We calculate the pension rights, which we also done before. The third step is a new step. Because this guy is retiring before age 60, we need to calculate the age reduction factor because it will be applicable to him because it's not 1, because he's not retiring at age 60. And the fourth step is to compute the annual pension and finally determine the monthly pension. So let's quickly go through. Now, this was determined earlier, so we don't need to waste time on it. The same salary, so the same average, add the 3, divided by 3, you get 54,000. Same calculation for the pension, right? For 250 months, 44.0625%. Now, in this case, because he's retiring at age 56 years, 2 months, we go to the table, we locate 56, that's on the second row, and then we locate the month, which is on the third column, under 2. So where the 2 cells or the 2 columns and the row meet is what is the number that should be used. And in this case, it's 0.6875, which is 68.75%. And that is the percentage the person is going to get out of his total benefits. If, as I indicated earlier, if you plan to retire at age 60, that applies to you. You have 100% of your benefits. So now the first step is to do the calculation for the annual pension, which is the same 54 times 44.0625 as a pension right, and then the age or the early retirement factor, which in this case is 0.6875. So when you do the calculation, that is, you have a calculator and you punch, the result is 16,358 cedis. This is the annual. So the fifth step, the monthly pension for this person. It's just a matter of dividing by 12. And when you do so, you arrive at 1,363 cedis, 18 pesos. Now, when you compare this to the person who retired at age 60, see that this person is losing quite a lot. The first one had 1,982 cedis, 81 pesos, but this guy is getting one. So it doesn't really pay to go on early retirement. You really have the energy and you have the ability to work. You need to continue working so that your pension can also be appreciable. Somebody will ask, so isn't there an easier way to estimate my pension? Yes, SSNIT has provided this on our website. And you can log on to the website at www.snit.org.gh and you can calculate or estimate your pension. Now, to do so, you need to have your date of birth ready, the number of months of contributions, the 3 best years annual salaries that you earned or you are earning, or what you expect to earn before your retirement. And then you need to calculate the average as you've gone through. Because we are going to be required to put in all these information before the system will bring out the pension that you should expect to get. Now, if you need every information, we'll give you the handles that you can go and get all this information. It can also be found, the information that I mentioned can also be found on your statement. That is your age, the date of birth, the number of months of contribution, your 3 best years and annual salaries, and so on. You can get it there and input on the system, and it will bring out your pension. In addition to the pension, we have what we call past credit that is paid to eligible pensioners. Now, the past credit is only for those who made a contribution before the inception of the new law, that is the Act 766 that we are operating now. It is simply the 4% of the salaries that on which you contributed, accumulated with 50% treasury bill rate from the date that you started up to December 2009. And then we add interest to that amount, that fee that we get from that time till the day you retire. That is the past credit. So basically the past credit is the 4% of the salaries on which you contributed from inception, from the time you joined the scheme, which is accumulated with half of treasury bill rates that is prevailing every year up till December 2009. Then we add interest onto it till the time you retire, whether 2020 or 2019. Now, the interest that we are going to add is the full treasury bill rate, which is compounded quarterly, meaning that we are going to compound it 4 times in a year, which is supposed to enhance the benefits. That's the past credit. Like I said, the past credit plus accrued interest from January 1st, 2010 to the date of retirement is what is going to be paid to the member as a top-up to the Tier 2. It is not equivalent to the 25% lump sum that others were enjoying under the old scheme. So let's not compare the two. They are not the same. They are, in effect, part of the second tier that you are supposed to get from your second tier fund managers. So SSNIT will pay the first year and the past credit to those who are eligible, and then you go to your second tier private fund managers and get the lump sum from there. So this will add to the lump sum. Now, what you must know about the scheme as a would-be pensioner is what I'm going to take you through. First, you need to know that benefits under the SSNIT scheme is predetermined by law. That is what that's what is called defined benefit scheme. That is why we are able to estimate our pension or our benefits even before we go on retirement. That is only if you know your salaries that you'll be earning before you go on retirement. Number 2, the benefits are partially funded. The scheme, what we mean by partially funding is the contribution that you make alone cannot pay for the benefits that you're entitled to before you die, assuming you're going to die at age 75 or at age 80. We need to invest the money with the returns that we get. We use that to fund the scheme. And then the new people that are coming also fund their contributions. Parts will also go into funding of the scheme. This is done everywhere in the world. Minimum pension is assured for all contributors. This means that if we calculate your pension by law, as the law stipulates that we should do, and the pension we arrive at is less than a certain minimum that has been approved by the board, then SSNIT will say, we won't pay you the minimum, the figure that you got, but we'll pay you the higher one, which is the minimum pension that we pay in the system. The processing of the pension or any benefits in SSNIT is free. Under no circumstances should anybody pay any money for his benefits to be processed. And of course, no SSNIT staff is going to charge you for processing your benefits. We are here for you. Pensions are indexed annually. By indexation, we look at the salary growth rate of the contributors and other economic factors and adjust the pensions of every pensioner on our payroll every year. And so every year, there will be an adjustment. That's what we call indexation of pensions. A very critical point is the more you earn, the more likely your pension is going to be. In fact, it has a direct correlation with the pension that you get. So if your salaries are higher, you are definitely going to get higher pension. So when people's pensions are not that high, they must be asking questions about the salaries they were earning before they went on retirement. SSNIT's pension payments do not delay. We have an agreement with the National Pensions Association, for that matter, pensioners, that every third Thursday of the month, your pension will be credited to your account earlier or by Thursday month. And I'm sure all the pensioners can attest to that. SSNIT has never defaulted in the payment of the benefits. That is a guarantee. That is how we serve you. We make sure that your pensions are paid promptly and accurately. Now, when you become a pensioner and God blesses you and you attain the age of 75 and above, after age 75, you should ensure that you renew what we call the pensioner certificate every year. This is to ensure that we pay the monies to the right people, that we don't pay pension to the wrong person. So basically, this is what you should know about the SSNIT scheme. At this stage, I'll pause for questions that some of you may have and want answers to.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits due you. Trust SSNIT, we will always pay on time so you don't have to worry. Trust SSNIT, oh, trust SSNIT, trust SSNIT. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits due you. Trust SSNIT, we will always pay on time so you don't have to worry. Trust SSNIT, oh, trust SSNIT, trust SSNIT. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits due you. Trust SSNIT, we will always pay on time so you don't have to worry. Trust SSNIT, oh, trust SSNIT, trust SSNIT. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits due you. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us.
Okay, so Idris Abdul Rauf Igura is asking how many years can one contribute to be entitled for SSNIT benefits. As I indicated, you need to contribute for a minimum of 180 months. So when you contribute for 180 months and you are 55 years and above, you can apply for your SSNIT benefits. And then we have Elijah Kojoadofo asking that he has registered for SSNIT, and for a month now he hasn't received an ID, a text informing of his ID number. Elijah should check on our branch office and inquire, since it has taken too much time to get an ID, to get a text, and he will give you the right information, that whatever problem it is can be resolved. Bartholomew KJC is asking, oh, I think that's a comment, the difference between the full pension and reduced pension compensated in any way. That's a comment that he's making. Then we have, I think, the first one. Can we get the next question, please? Scroll down. Okay, somebody is asking, Al-Amin Mohammed, it says, can't you use your contribution to access a mortgage? No financial assistance to contributors hugely affected by the pandemic. In fact, the second tier gives room for such a person who is desirous of getting a mortgage to, from the scheme, but not from SSNIT, not the first tier. The law makes it clear. Once you contribute for more than 10 years under the second tier, you can talk to the fund managers and you are likely to get such assistance from them. Bright Tobias is asking how to check the contributions online. Yes, you can go to our website and you can click on the My Statement, and you can go through the process and to show you how you can get your statement. Top Tenor Akonu is asking, how may I know if my SSNIT card is valid or invalid, or is working? Yes, once you get a card, it has to be activated. So once you receive the card and you go to the nearest office, it will be activated before it is being issued to you. And so the card is valid. Once it's generated for you from SSNIT, it's a valid card that you can use. All right.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there, to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits due you. Trust SSNIT, we will always pay on time so you don't have to worry. Trust SSNIT, oh, trust SSNIT, trust SSNIT. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement?
So the questions that were not able to be answered at this stage will be answered by our colleagues, and they will send them to your inboxes. Now, these are the tips I want you to take home. The first one is, Your age, the number of months of contribution, and earned basic salaries are factors that are considered when calculating your pension. 2, you need a minimum of 15 years or 180 months of contribution to qualify for pension. 3, you must ensure that your employer pays the contribution regularly and they pay it on the correct salary. Number 4, you need to check your statements periodically to ensure that all contributions reflect, because it's very crucial, as you've seen in our demonstration, that they go into the calculation of your benefits. Number 5, as I said earlier, the past credit plus accrued interest from 1st January 2010 to the date of retirement is what is paid to the member by SSNIT as a top-up to the Tier 2 lump sum. Number 6, SSNIT only pays monthly pension to members when they fall due. The second tier is not handled by SSNIT. Okay. Now you can join us same time next week as we take you through the obligations of the employer and the employee. You may contact us on 0302 611 622 or WhatsApp direct number 050000 3050. You can also follow us on social media as SSNIT Ghana on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. My name is Joseph Poku. I thank you so much for your attention.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're from, make a move, make a contribution. Trust SSNIT, we are reliable, we will be there when you need us. Trust SSNIT, we are dependable, we will pay all your benefits to you. Trust SSNIT, we will always pay on time so you don't have to worry. Trust SSNIT, oh, trust SSNIT, trust SSNIT. SSNIT.
SSNIT, we deliver on our promise.
Do you want to enjoy a good life when you reach your retirement? There's a place I know will see you through, but you have to pay a contribution to the SSNIT scheme. Trust SSNIT to always be there to put a smile on your face. When all is said and done, that's the time for you to live your best life. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, there's a plan for you. It doesn't matter where you're